From London, I'm Rochelle Travers, and this is The Standard.
What I can confirm is that a future Conservative government will not increase income tax, national insurance or VAT. And that is a very important commitment to people who are worried about cost of living.
The Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt there, speaking on BBC Breakfast. It's the turn of the Tories to come out swinging today as they try to win over voters to secure another term in government. In an exclusive interview with The Standard, Mr Hunt has said that the Conservatives are prepared to defend the blue wall brick by brick, despite claiming even his seat in Surrey is on a knife edge. Our political editor Nicholas Cecil caught up with the Chancellor on the campaign trail to find out the latest from Tory HQ and whether or not he's feeling confident heading into the general election. Nick, you secured the exclusive interview for The Standard with Jeremy Hunt. What did he have to say?
Yes, well, I went down and went out on the doorstep with the Chancellor and in the constituency of Godalming and Ash, which is in Surrey. And this is a seat being targeted by the Liberal Democrats, and they're trying to do a Portillo moment. If you remember back to the Tony Blair 1997 landslide victory, that night Defence Secretary Michael Portillo was defeated in Enfield Southgate, and that became a kind of totemic moment for the election. The Lib Dems are trying to do the same to Mr Hunt on July the 4th, July the 5th. But he's saying, don't bet the farm on it. He's saying Jeremy Hunt is no Michael Portillo, for better or worse.
Is he right to be concerned about his seat? Is it vulnerable?
Yes, and he knows it. The Conservatives have done internal polling in the constituency, and one of the polls showed Mr Hunt winning, and the other poll showed him losing. And he openly admits that it's on a knife edge. He might want to make this case, say it's very close to Conservative voters to come out and vote, but certainly the Liberal Democrats are targeting it very strongly.
Mr Hunt also had some words to say about the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. What did he say about him?
Yes, well, cabinet ministers have regularly clashed with the London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, over issues such as housing, transport, crime. And some people feel that there hasn't been a very good relationship between central government and City Hall. So when asked, given that Mr Khan's been re-elected now, if the Tories also win, would they try to have a more constructive relationship in future? He really turned the table on Mr Khan, saying that generally, as Chancellor, he's got on well with mayors from around the country. He made the point that more power had been devolved to Andy Burnham in Greater Manchester, but he accused Mr Khan in London of playing politics too often against central government, an accusation which no doubt the mayor would deny.
What were some of the other key points he made during the interview?
There was a broader point about the blue wall. So a lot has been said and written about the red wall in the north and Midlands of England. But the Tories are so far behind in the polls that there's now a string of seats in the so-called blue wall in southern England, which the Liberal Democrats in particular, and also Labour, could win. Mr Hunt is making the point that the Tories will defend the blue wall, in his words, brick by brick. And certainly there could be a number of very close contests at the general election in early July.
Have there been any new pledges from the Tories?
What we've had this morning is not so much a new pledge, but it was the Chancellor going on the attack over tax. He's raised a prospect that if Labour win, then VAT could be increased by Sir Keir Starmer. Now, this was very swiftly denied by the Shadow Chancellor, Rachel Reeves. But again, tax and the economy is a key area for the election, and I expect there'll be far more fierce contests and arguments over this in coming weeks.
What do you think the Conservatives should do now to try and claw back more votes?
They need to find some kind of a game changer. The possible one is getting some Rwanda flights off the ground, certainly going out on the doorstep with Mr Hunt in the Godalming and Ash constituency. A number of local people there were raising immigration as an issue. But so far, Rishi Sunak has said that there will not be any deportation of flights to Rwanda before the election. That may be an attempt to convince people that nothing's going to happen and then suddenly get a plane or two off the ground in very early July or late June. At the moment, we're hearing that people who were detained to go on some of these flights are now being released by tribunals because they don't think there's any kind of reasonable prospect of any flights going soon.
Let's go to the ads. In part 2, ES Magazine editor Ben Cobb on their special Pride issue with Donatella Versace.
She used to walk around the parks walking her dogs. She used to walk around in disguise. So a lot of people might have walked past her or maybe even spoken to her and not known who it was.
The Standard Podcast will be back in just a moment.